Today, I'm going to teach you all about the Ayurvedic perspective on toxic buildup in your body and how to cleanse, including the top habits you have that are creating toxic buildup in your body. Even if you think you're being healthy, I made these mistakes for years before finding Ayurvedic medicine. I'm going to share with you Ayurvedic secrets to cleansing that have been used effectively for literally thousands of years to keep people healthy, and you can use them too. And I'm going to share with you some very simple yet powerful herbal formulas and remedies that are wonderful for cleansing toxins from your body without any kind of scary side effects and without having to change all of your wellness routine. So if this sounds like something that you are interested, stay tuned because this is the class for you. I'm going to have some resources and next steps for you at the end of this video if you want deeper support in cleansing, because it's just so useful. And why struggle trying to figure it out when somebody is here to tell you, like me? Because here's the truth. You were born with a special magic, meaning, and medicine on your heart that only you can give to the world. And when you are sick, when you're struggling with low energy, lethargy, and depression, you cannot show up in the same way. And I understand that journey very well, because if you're anything like me, you are here to live a life of impact and service, and you don't have time to be struggling with these issues, right? So if you can relate to that, raise your hand and say, yes, that's me. And believe me, this info is really key to the long-term wellness, to the radiant health that you are looking for. And I say with no hyperbole that what I'm going to share with you today literally transformed my life. So before I became the CEO and founder of Siddha Labs, and before I was an Ayurvedic practitioner doing research on how Ayurvedic herbs impact the microbiome, like I'm a nerd about this stuff, I was struggling with chronic back pain, which is actually connected to the gut health piece and what I'm going to share with you in this class. So listen closely. I had this terrible chronic back pain that would leave me unable to walk for a week of every month. And I spent 15 years trying to figure it out. You know, I'm not someone who just does nothing. And I went to naturopathic doctors, to acupuncturists, to the chiropractor. I had MRIs and x-rays. Nobody could figure out what was wrong with me or give me a long-term solution until I ended up in an Ayurvedic hospital, completely unplanned, in 2013 while traveling with my ex-husband, visiting different sites connected to our spiritual traditions as well as others. And it was in this visit that I found out it wasn't my exercise habits. It wasn't my scoliosis, because I also have that. None of those things were causing my back pain. It was actually being caused by what I was eating, what I was digesting, and what I was not. Because the truth is, you are not what you eat. You are what you can digest, assimilate, and absorb. And this critical distinction changed my life. And after only 90 days of herbal medicine and changing my diet, my back pain was gone, like 85% cured, which was absolutely miraculous. And this changed my life so much that I moved to Albuquerque, New Mexico, sight unseen, to study Ayurveda with the one and only Dr. Basant Lad. So I'm very excited to share this information with you, and I hope that it changes your life. And if you're somebody out there who's been struggling with fatigue, who's struggling with pain in your joints, who's struggling with brain fog, this could be the solution that you've been looking for. So stay tuned, and I hope that this is going to be of service to you. I'm going to just pull up the slides, so give me a moment. And what I'd like to add to all of that is that this actually became the catalyst for me to heal not only my physical body, but I was able to start working on some of the deeper emotional traumas, the sexual shame I had been carrying my whole life, and to step into the leadership that I knew I was meant for, all because I dealt with my health. So remember, health is the foundation of everything in life. So here we go. Detox, an Ayurvedic masterclass on how to optimize your health with gentle cleansing so that you can feel amazing and have the impact that you are meant to in the world, because truly you are not here to suffer. And with the right information, you can completely transform your health in very profound ways, and they don't have to be complicated. So listen up. So as I explained to you, this topic is very near and dear to me. I'm a scientist and Ayurvedic practitioner and researcher turned master coach. I'm also the founder of Siddha Labs Ayurvedic herbal supplements. I'm initiated into 3 spiritual traditions. I study Vedic astrology, and more than any of that, I am a free-thinking rebel who believes your body knows better than anybody else what it needs. So I'm going to teach you how to read the analytics of what your body is telling you so you can rely on yourself, right? Because the goal of all of this is really autonomy for healthcare. I believe that people should know how to take care of their bodies based on what their body is telling them. Yes, we need specialists, absolutely. And this wisdom has been lost. So let's bring it back into the world, starting with you. So I had this horrible back pain for 15 years, that I couldn't figure out the root cause of, which I already explained. But here's what it was. I was actually having all that pain because my body was so clogged with this toxic buildup that we call ama, that I developed chronic pain and inflammation. And I literally was unable to walk for a week of every month on average. And it was absolutely horrible. Like, it was just one of the worst periods of my life. I had to give up playing in my band. I had to give up both martial arts I was studying, and I could barely carry a backpack to class in college. And so I had given up that I would ever even be able to ride a bike again. I'm a very athletic person, so this was just incredibly devastating. And so as I was explaining to you, I had done all these things to try and figure it out, but the real culprit and the real reason I had all this pain was because of my diet. That's right. This was literally caused by how and what I was eating and how and what I was digesting and not. We'll get to that. So I was vegetarian, but I was really doing it wrong. And I would wake up in the middle of the night, like unable to sleep. And to bring some heaviness to my body, I would go half like zombie to the kitchen cabinet, pull out the jar of peanut butter and eat like half of it, like so much so that my ex-husband used to actually hide the peanut butter from me in his office. And what was happening is that this stuff wasn't digesting properly in my body. So I was completely drained, and I wasn't actually getting any nutrients because my whole GI tract was coated with gunk, with undigested food. And so because it was clogged, right? Like if your sink is clogged, nothing goes through. Because it was clogged, nutrients were not absorbing into my body, and I was very, very low energy. Which brings me to this question: what % of your energy is spent on digesting food? Think about that for a second. Answer: 5 to 30%, based on what kind of food you're eating. And my question to you is, how would it feel to have, that should say 5 to 30% more energy, right? And isn't it interesting what foods are taking that much of their caloric intake to digest? What food do you think that is? I'll answer at the end. And if I forget, just drop something in the comments, drop a question in the comments, and I'll answer later. So basically, the reason we need to detox is because your body needs a break from digesting so that your organs can detox themselves and repair themselves, right? It's like, you know, when you're in the kitchen all the time making food, stuff gets dirty, stuff gets built up, the sink gets funky, there's stuff around the faucet. And the only way you're going to have time to clean that is if you take a break from cooking, right? Like, it's not really convenient to do that in the middle of making a meal. You need to do that on the weekend, right? Like we usually do that on a Saturday, right? So in that same way, detoxing is important because it's allowing your gut to make these very important repairs and do maintenance. And even, remember how I said I thought I was being healthy? Like, look at this picture. Now, when you look at it, many of you are going to think, oh, that woman is very healthy. Look at her, like, she's beautiful. She's got a cute outfit. She's got this like green drink in front of her. Like, for sure, she's healthy. But what I see and what my fellow Ayurvedic practitioners will see is, well, one, she's completely like disconnected from her beverage, from that which is nourishing her. It's probably got ice in it. And, you know, that might not be good for her, depending on her digestive capacity, which we're going to get into, because your unique ability to digest and break down food plays such a tremendous role in all of this, right? This buildup of toxins in your body, how much you need to cleanse, all of this. And we're going to get into that in just a minute. So I wanted to share a little bit about the Eastern versus Western perspective on toxins and what I'm actually talking about today. I'm talking about something very specifically called Ama, and I'll go into that in a little more detail in a later slide. But Western perspective on toxins, it tends to be, you know, those things that are coming from outside of you. It's pollutants, heavy metals, pesticides in conventional food like this. And that's more like the Ayurvedic concept of poison, which we call visha, but it's not connected to digestion. So what I'm talking about today is toxins, that toxic buildup that comes from poorly digested food. Ama actually means undigested, uncooked, and it creates all kinds of havoc in your body, like I explained, including malnutrition, malaise, fatigue, depression, loss of appetite, wrong cravings. You'll start acting crazy. I really, every time I do a cleanse, when I come out on the other side, I'm like, dang, why did I wait so long? And oh my gosh, how I was thinking about the world and behaving wasn't a true reflection of me, right? So this is an opportunity to let more of yourself shine through. Okay, so why do we care about Ama, right? Now, we understand that the GI tract is a tube, right? You have an open tube in your body, like your mouth to your anus is a tube. And when that tube is healthy, you're able to digest food with ease. Everything comes out and it's nice and clean. You don't have stinky poop. You barely even have to wipe. This is actually a sign of a healthy GI tract. So if you're one of those people that's like half a roll, this is another sign that you have Ama, and I'll talk more about that, the signs and symptoms, so that you can tell if you have this in your body. But we really need your body to be able to uptake nutrients and to pass things through efficiently, right? So remembering that when your organism gets clogged with Ama, it actually starts to spread into the deeper tissue. And that is what happened to me. I had so much Ama, my pipe was so filled with toxins that it overflowed from my colon, from my GI tract into space, right? A place where there is space, which was my joints, especially around my hips and low back, because I'm a drummer and I'm a martial artist and I was training capoeira. So I was doing all this stuff that put a lot of pressure and centrifugal force on that part of my body, pushing the ama, the undigested gunk, the undigested food material into that area. So how can you tell when you have this? Fatigue, low energy. Yes. Now we're looking for confluence. Loss of appetite. This is huge, right? Because it's your body wants to digest and burn through the stuff that's coating your intestines. And so it's like, please don't put any more food in. But we don't always have the intelligence to understand that, or simply the awareness, right? A thick coating on your tongue. And I'm actually going to skip to this slide so that you can see the difference. Now, this main picture, wow, this is a beautiful, healthy tongue. This is somebody who's digesting their food very well. And then when you look at the other tongues, oh my goodness, this one on the top upper corner, this woman, I would almost guarantee, feels terrible. She could have pain in her joints. She's not digesting her food well. She's probably feeling very heavy after she eats, right? This is another sign. When you get super tired after eating, then you should listen and pay attention to your body and recognize, oh, I probably need to detox, because you shouldn't be tired after you eat. You should be energized, and you should also be looking at what you're eating. So indigestion, obesity, difficulty sweating. This is also another hallmark sign that you have so much ama, so much undigested food, that it has moved into your limbs, right? This is how disease progresses from the Ayurvedic perspective, right? It accumulates in intestine, and then it moves into circulation, right? And this stuff will actually clog your sweat glands and oil glands. So you'll end up having very, very dry skin. And if you have achy joints when you wake up and it gets better over the day, this is also a classic hallmark sign of having too much ama. Long story short, all of these are your body saying, help me, I'm clogged. So what creates ama in the body? Remember what I said at the beginning. You are not what you eat. You are what you can digest, assimilate, and absorb. How you eat, with how much of focus and awareness, like are you sitting in front of your meal? Are you saying a prayer of gratitude? Or are you like shoveling food in your mouth on the go that's from McDonald's, right? I don't think many McDonald's eaters are watching this video, unlikely, but you get my point. What you are eating, right? The types of food combinations. So a lot of times people think they're being healthy, but the food combination is incompatible and creates ama in the intestines. And when you eat, how, what, and when are all impacting your digestive health and how much ama you do or do not have in the body. And this is followed only by your digestive type, right? Because there are people whose digestive type, or agni, which is the Sanskrit word for fire, is strong enough that they can really kind of eat whatever and it doesn't build up, but not everybody is like that. In fact, most people aren't. So we want to understand both of these things, right? You want to understand how to eat your food with care and reverence, what to eat for optimal digestion and absorption, right? Including the correct combos, what time, don't eat too late, this tricks your body and does all kinds of other stuff, and what kind of digestion you have, to summarize. So some big causes are poor food combining, which that's a whole course in itself. I'll get to that at the end if you want to learn more. I can support you with that. drinking cold water with meals, having an irregular schedule, or eating when you're not hungry. Because the thing is, your body's very intelligent and it actually knows when you need to eat or not. And eating more than the digestive juices can handle. Like, look, we are all going to have a situation where cold water is all there is available, or we are traveling, we're running late, something happened. Like, this is not about becoming militant about your life, but it is about having awareness and being mindful of doing your best to stick to a routine. And something else that happens as a side effect of this is that you'll become very regular with your bowels, and you might even sleep better. I did a cleanse recently in India, and I was really struggling with the time change. I was shocked at how fast I was able to adjust. And even with my background as an Ayurvedic practitioner and a meditator for many, many years, I still am human. I get lost and start picking up bad habits around schedule. And I was in that kind of cycle. And we were having all of our meals and snacks on such a regular basis. And as a result, I was able to adjust in record time to the time zone adjustment and really get some decent sleep, which I was reminded of how important schedule is for the rhythms of your body. So some other causes of this buildup of ama, this toxic byproduct of undigested food, you don't exercise enough. We need to stimulate the legs on a daily basis, and you should sweat on a daily basis for optimum health. And we need to connect with the food visually. If you can avoid it, and I'm pretty sure you can, don't look at your phone, don't watch a video while you eat, just be fully present with this gift of life, this gift from Mother Earth, right? So some of you are like, okay, I get the picture, Amaya. I have ama. Oh my God, this is freaking me out. What am I supposed to do? Well, it's time to kindle your digestive capacity and fire, and to cook out some of that built up sludge in your body. And we do that through two primary mechanisms called dipana and pachana, right? So dipana, we're kindling the agni, the digestive capacity, so that you digest the food you're putting in well. And pachan is helping to cook, that's the terminology we use, what's left over in the GI. And this is done through a number of ways, but there are a couple really fabulous herbal remedies and teas that you can use very, very safely. So these include, to increase digestion, drinking CCF tea. Cumin, coriander, fennel is absolutely wonderful. Fresh ginger tea is great. Be careful with the dried. It's very drying and heating. Hot water in general, like if you stick with that alone helps to clear out the GI tract. There are also specialized vatis or herbal pills you can take, but you really have to have a practitioner. I have created many custom formulas for my clients to help them do this in a more targeted way and work on other health concerns as well. But even without working with a practitioner, if that's not within your means, or you can start with the CCFT, ginger before meals, ginger tea, hot water, and this can really help you go a long way. So can eating pickled ginger, and I'm a huge fan of ferments in general. I think having some fermented food with a meal is absolutely stunning way to support your digestion. Lifestyle habits, right? Eating cooked foods. Man, when I was having this horrible back pain, I was eating so much food that I thought was healthy, including a lot of salads, a lot of smoothies with protein, peanut butter, which I told you about. But all of these were really, really hard to digest. And in fact, like the smoothie with protein is a food combining no-no, right? So all of those will support removing this toxic buildup in your body so that your body can heal itself, right? And taking 100 steps after eating is another great way to stimulate your digestion. You know, it's really not good to eat food and then lay down. And it's really, really not good to lay down completely flat, right? If you have to take a day rest, do it sitting up. What happens when you sleep after eating food is you actually increase the phlegm in your body and it kind of spreads. So we don't want that. Eat on a regular schedule. Try to have your last meal before sunset or by 7, and reduce your snacking. You know, the thing with snacking is when you eat before the previous food is digested, you're sending a signal to the body to push everything through, but it might not actually be done yet. And if you haven't fully digested the previous meal, that means you missed the opportunity to fully get all of the nutrients from it. So be mindful, like really let at least 3 hours go by between snacks and a meal, and 3 to 6 is optimal. Yeah, so again, I just came back from doing Panchakarma. Right now it is end of September 2023. I think it's the 28th. And I was really, again, I had gotten into so many bad habits. And my tongue was pretty coated with ama. And again, you know, having healthy digestion has been a lifelong struggle for me because my digestive system is just a little weaker than some people's. I have what is called Vishama Agni. It's one of the 4 digestive types that I teach you about in my Gut Health Reset course, which is separate from here, but it's very important to understand. And just by only eating cooked foods, right? By taking a few steps after eating, and by taking some of these Dipaniya and Pachana herbal medications, man, my tongue got so clean. And I just have so much more energy. I feel so much better. I'm so grateful to Ayurvedic medicine. I'm going to be taking a group with me on a cleanse. So if that's something you're interested in, check out the links at the end of this video to see how you can get in touch. But it's really, really profound. So how do we reduce the toxins that are already in there, right? You're like, okay, I understand how to be mindful and not create ama through good food combining, through good food habits, through taking care of my body, by having a schedule. But once it's there, what do I do to get rid of it? You cleanse. And the way that I recommend is cleansing with khichdi, especially if you're somebody who is sensitive to fasting or like juice cleanses that spike your blood sugar. I'm not a fan of those, but I do love this. And this is what I recommend and what I use in my guided cleanses with my clients and group classes. So khichdi is amazing. It is a combination of rice and mung beans, and it's a complete protein, very easy to digest, complete amino acid profile. It's balancing to all the doshas, vata, pitta, and kapha. It's easy to prepare, and it's actually pretty good. Like, you can go for a while on khichdi. If you do it right, you won't get too sick of it, which is something I love about it. And I've eaten a lot of khichdi in my life. So part of why mono dieting is so amazing is that when you are eating the same thing, all the foods that are part of khichdi, like your body is able to understand very clearly what it needs to do to assimilate and absorb them. And on top of that, we choose a very specific spice blend that supports the digestive tract. Now, there are some people who don't like having rice, which is what khichdi is traditionally made with, and you can substitute quinoa. And there are people who are also very sensitive to legumes and for whom this may not work. So if you are those people, this may not be for you, but for 90% of people that I've worked with, they do really well with this actually, especially again with the right spices that are carminative, meaning they keep the gas down if you're not used to digesting legumes, and you also need to soak it. And again, I go through all of these details in my gut health reset, which if you are interested, I will drop links at the end of this video. So how are we burning up that ama? How are we cleaning house once that stuff is already in our guts? This is where pachana comes into play. And it's herbs and substances that are heating that cook out this undigested food, right? It's like they're finishing the process of incomplete digestion. So one thing that everybody can take very, very safely is Triphala or Haritaki. And in fact, when I was in Ayurveda school, I watched my Ayurveda teacher, Dr. Basant Lad, recommend Triphala to pretty much every single client. Occasionally, he would recommend one other herbal option if there was some liver stagnation. But for the most part, everybody got this. And it is wonderful for cleansing the body. Now, I personally use some different herb blends and I like to do the customization. But again, if you haven't worked with somebody, then this is something anybody can safely do. And Siddha Jal, medicated water, that CCFT, the cumin, coriander, fennel, also does pachana. So these are two wonderful options you can start to employ. Very simple. Make sure you get organic always. And if you want more options for working with a professional, check the video at the end. Congratulations, you made it all the way to the end of this video. If it was useful for you, if you learned something about your health, about what ama is, about how to cleanse your body appropriately, and you found that useful, I would love it if you would like this video and subscribe to my channel for more content. So now you understand just how sticky and icky ama is, why regular cleansing to get rid of it is a must if you want to stay healthy, if you want to have a powerful impact on the world, and you've got some tips and tricks on how to do that, right? Because you are here for a reason. You have a powerful purpose and you don't have time to feel sluggish, to feel lethargic, or maybe you're just smart and you're proactive about your health. So if you want to go deeper and you want an easy to follow cleanse without stressful fasting or juicing that spikes your blood sugar, I have got just the thing for you. You can join me in person October 23rd through 27th for my fall cleanse and gut health reset course. You're going to get me for 3-hour-long master classes, a community of people, easy to follow cleanse instructions, and so much more. Or if we're not in that window, which we very well might not be, there's a link to my self-guided gut health reset course below. You're going to learn so much about your digestive type and all the things that you need to reset your health from the inside out. So if that sounds good to you, follow the link below. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to connecting with you again soon.